Hey everybody, Cody with Princess Craft RV. What? Hey everybody, Cody with Princess Craft RV, and today we're gonna do our technical walkthrough on the all-new MorningStar by Awaken RV. So let's head up front and let's get started. So starting up front, one of the new things that we're gonna see here that I've not talked about before is gonna be this Gen Y coupler. It operates a little different. It's auto latching when you lower down onto the ball, but when you need to release it, you've got to rotate this little latch over here while you lift it off the ball. Makes it really nice so you don't accidentally forget to latch it, and a little different when you unlatch. And then it's got the safety pin to make sure it doesn't get snagged on something and unlock. We do have your safety chains that we are going to continue to create a basket underneath the coupler and onto your receiver hitch. The Gen Y is adjustable by height based on tow vehicle if necessary. We've got your safety breakaway cable and traditional 7-way RV plug for light and brake control. We've got the Lippert electric tongue jack. It's got your work light for the evening type work. Extend and retract, make sure it's retracted all the way up for travel. Inside our tubs here at the front, we are gonna have our propane tanks. Just held closed with these little rubber latches. You're just gonna pop both of them open, and your door side one has to open up first. And these are gonna rotate all the way down. They do have little rubber bumpers there for that to sit against. And inside we will have your propane cylinders held in place with your crossbar and your wing nut, changeover regulator, and just standard propane cylinders. These are gonna be refillable. You're probably not gonna find a great exchange place for the size of these, so running with refills is gonna be your best bet. To utilize this changeover valve here, you're just gonna rotate this depending on which cylinder you want to utilize, and this will point in that direction. To remove a cylinder for refill, you're just gonna loosen up the wing nut. Swing your crossbar out of the way, make sure your cylinder is closed, and remove the pigtail. Lift your cylinder out of there, go get it refilled, put it back in, and remake all of your connections. Put your crossbar back in place and snug that wing nut down. Make sure those aren't gonna bounce around while you're traveling. There is a little bit of storage space where you could fit some stuff in here. Make sure you don't block off any of the lower ventilations. Propane is heavier than air. You want it to be able to escape if there is a leak. Closing this up, your off door side's gonna close first, then your door side. Then you're just gonna latch them down. You also have a 12-volt accessory port right here on the front in case you need access for 12-volt power while you're working up here. Over here on our off-door side of the MorningStar, we do have our manufacturer tags and our tire label. Make sure you read that information, pay attention to it. It's got your weights, your VIN, and need to know information on there. In our first baggage door here, we're gonna have one locking latch on here. And inside we are just going to have some storage. There is also some access to some ventilation and ductwork in there. So as you're packing it, just be careful that you don't crush anything or separate anything. We've got your Truma exhaust vent for our Truma system on here. So hot air coming out of there when you're running your furnace or burning propane gas. So make sure we don't cover that up. Make sure little fingers don't get on there and get burnt. Wheels and tires, check your tire pressure regularly, adjust as needed. Torque spec, it is recommended to check your torque spec before each trip. Recommended torque spec is usually between 100 and 120 foot-pounds. Moving on back to our wet bay. In here we've got our city water connections. You're gonna be able to pass your water hose up through this little port right here, come in, make your connection for city water, goes into the white connection. And then depending on the camping style you want to do, or if you need to fill your fresh water, you're gonna position your valves based off of what the diagram is here. We do have your spray port, hot and cold water here. And then the black connection right here is gonna be for your black tank rinse. So after you dump your black tank, you're gonna hook up your non-potable water hose don't use the same hose you use to provide fresh water. You don't need a regulator in line. We want maximum amount of water and pressure going in there to help rinse that tank out. Once you're done with that, you can close all this up. You also have access to your pump out here. So if you're winterizing or doing other things from out here, you can cycle your pump from out here versus having to go back and forth. And this is just going to be thumb latch. And we've got your sewer connections here. We've got your black and gray dump. Pretty standard there. Dump your black first, follow it with your gray. Don't leave your black valve open until your tank is full and you're ready to dump it. All right, so on the back of the MorningStar, all of this stuff that I'm gonna go over back here is standard. It's gonna be the backup camera. You get a spare tire. You will need a tool to remove this cover. And you also get a M-bumper storage for your sewer hose. And it's a nice large opening so you can get some of your real premium sewer hoses in there. On the bottom edge of the bumper, we do have your rear stabilizers. Going to be your standard crank down stabilizers using a 3/4 inch socket or 19 millimeter or just the crank handle that comes with them. Moving down the door side here, electronic global link door lock here for key locking or electronic unlocking. Door is going to be held back with the hold back. Wheels and tires, just like we talked about on the other side. You do have an exterior 110 outlet that has GFI controls in it, so it's got the test and reset button in there. Check that stuff whenever you're having 110 problems. Make sure you haven't tripped it accidentally. And then on our door side baggage door in here, we've got something that's fun, which is going to be your Battleborn 270 amp hour lithium battery, which is their game changer model. It's the 3.0 version, so it's their most current, and it's got the built-in heat, so you can cold weather camp in this without having to worry about your lithium battery having issues. And the last thing we've got out here is going to be our exterior gas port. It's going to be for your exterior camping grills, fire pits, anything you want to hook up and run off of the propane that's on board of the camper. All right, let's hop inside and let's check that out. All right, guys, here we are inside the MorningStar. So really cool layout, but just right inside the door, a couple things that they've put at the dinette here are going to be these little pop-up charge stations. They're kind of cool. They, when they're flat, they can be used as a wireless charging pad. But if you pop them up, they've got USBs on them. So it's kind of a cool double feature thing there. So there's one on each side of the dinette there. In your kitchen, they have opted for this really cool sink. It's got your glass washer. You put your glass upside down on there and you push down on it. Water sprays up into it to help you rinse. There's some shelves that can go in here. You've got a like a rain shower side here that can help you wash vegetables and stuff. Stuff's all over the internet. I'm sure you've seen it. Fancy control knobs, all kinds of cool stuff there. We've got your just some pull-out storage here under your kitchen sink, all enclosed. You don't see any plumbing or anything, so you don't have to worry about damaging anything when you're putting your stuff in this cabinet. All right, guys, so in our MorningStar, we've got a 3-burner cooktop here, glass cover. You're just gonna fold the front section over the back, and then the rest of it's gonna fold up. Now, the glass cover, you don't wanna, fire up your burners with it closed, and you wanna let them cool completely before you close it down. Now, to light your burners, you're just gonna turn your knob to the high position, push in, and then you're gonna rotate your sparker here until that lights up. And then once it's lit, you can let out on that and your burner should stay running, and then you can adjust your flame. We do have some backlighting here. It's gonna be blue in color, so pretty fancy. We've got our Contour microwave down here. This is gonna be a convection since we don't have an oven in this unit. This can be utilized as oven cooking. We've got another GFI controlled outlet here. Again, if you're having 110 plug operation issues, check those. And we've got your convenience center here that's got your lights for your tank levels, fresh black and gray. It's got a pump light on it, so if your water pump's turned on, that light will be lit up. And then we also have tank heater control, so your fresh black and gray all have tank heater pads on them for cold weather camping. All right, so mounted on our kitchen wall here, we do have our Truma control panel. That's gonna be for controlling our air conditioner and our combi unit. So to operate this, we do have other videos that you can check out for more in-depth. But you're just gonna push, your caravan's gonna pop up there, you're gonna push again. And once you get to this screen, you're gonna either select heater or AC. Whenever you decide which one you want, you're gonna push again, and it's gonna come to off. From there, you're gonna select your mode. So cool mode, push again, and then you're gonna rotate and select your temperature, and then you're gonna push again. So once that gets going, you can adjust fan speed on this one over here. So once you rotate your dial over, it's flashing, you're gonna push, and it's gonna pop up with fan speed, and then you can rotate between which fan speed you want. Once you decide which one you want, you're gonna push again, and then your fan speed will change. For water heater control, that's gonna be the little wavy lines with the thermometer in it. You're gonna push, off is gonna pop up, you're gonna push again, push, then rotate, choose your mode, whether you want eco, hot, or boost. Push again, and then it's gonna show you your little gas bottle there, and it's gonna start operating. And to turn it off, again, just push, cycle to off, push again. And we're gonna do the same thing with our AC. Push, rotate this to off, push again. And you should have nothing in this top bar right here. That means everything is turned off. All right, moving on along, we are equipped with your Contour 12-volt refrigerator freezer. Nice large unit there that will cool quickly. And then jumping over to our dinette, nice U-shaped dinette. This can make and convert into an additional sleeping space with our tabletop here. This tabletop is movable. It can slide side to side and out to give you some customizable space depending on how much you need. And then it will collapse to the floor. This thing doesn't actually completely remove in any way, shape. There's a little black button down there on the floor. You're actually gonna use your foot, push down on that, and then push down on your tabletop to get that into place. And you're gonna push it all the way down to lock it into place, and then position your cushions over it to make your additional sleeping space. We are equipped with your TV over here. Just pull down on this little strap right here, and this can then swing away from the wall. And it's got a pretty long arm on it, so you can rotate this pretty far around. You can be cooking, or you can hang out in the dinette, watch TV, and then it can swing all the way around and be utilized for your sleeping space here. Biggest thing I see with these is that they don't get secured back to the wall correctly, and then as you're going down the road, they bounce and they can actually be damaged. In your overhead compartments, they're all gonna be assisted with struts to stay open, so you don't need multiple hands. And in here, you will find your 110 cord for your TV. All of your windows in here are gonna operate the same way with the shades and operation of the window. So shades are just gonna be held with the clip. You will have a day and night shade, or a bug screen if you want to call it that. Open your windows, you're just going to rotate your latches. These little knobs up here are going to be how you lock the stays in the open position. So you're just going to push out, you're going to rotate the knob. Just snug, you don't need to crank down on them real tight. They have a little rubber tip in there. If you crank down on them too tight too many times, you'll wear that rubber tip out, and then they start not holding as well. So just snug enough to hold it open. And then when you need to close it, just support the window, slack off on the knob, and then close it. These do have a ventilation position. If you rotate that latch into this open slot right here, then you can have just a small amount of fresh air come in through that window. Great maybe for a rainy day, but it's cool outside. Make sure they are fully latched and closed for travel. If you want all your windows when you get to your next destination, latch them closed completely. Nice large front window. We also have this really cool stargazer style window overhead here. Again, we've got your day and night shade, and even this one up here can open, but it kind of opens the other way. It's gonna open up and away from the trailer. So really cool, lot of great light coming in. This is gonna be a twin bed setup. Underneath your twin mattresses, there's nothing. It is just your fiberglass support for your beds. You'll see these little black registers down here along the floor. That's gonna be where your heat comes from when you're utilizing your furnace. And you do have a 110 outlet on each side of the bed here, or at each bed, so you can utilize CPAPs, charging, computers, whatever you need to use. And you do have a little nightstand shelf in between the beds here with some storage. Folks, she didn't like my reading light bit, so here's a new one. So each twin bed's gonna have a reading lamp, and you have just a switch on the base to turn that on and off. Now up on the ceiling, we do have a few things. With the Truma air conditioner, this is gonna be a ventilated system, so we have some air conditioning vents that run the length of the trailer. But we also have a fresh air vent fan here. It's got a shroud on it that does have its own lighting with the little button. It is a max air fan, so it can be utilized closed, open. It can do fresh air in or out, depending on which way you wanna ventilate your camper. Nice big wardrobe here by the fridge. Your Truma unit overhead here. So again, this is gonna be a ducted system, so we don't have our traditional Truma unit that you see in a lot of our other videos. Whoa, check out this bathroom. It's actually a dry bathroom in this size of a trailer, which is great. So we have a nice large shower here with a roller style door that just kind of grabs onto the edge to keep it shut, and then very easy to open. We have overhead lighting with a little ring light and also a vent in here. Hot and cold shower, obviously, with an adjustable spray head. All right, bathroom's equipped with a nice vessel sink, hot and cold from your faucet there. It's got your vanity mirror here. It's got the really big side on it when you really want to get nice and close. You've got a window back here. You can't go wrong there. Again, we've got storage under our sink here with no plumbing or electrical access to worry about damaging or snagging anything. And we've got your foot flush style toilet. Pedal halfway down is going to put water in the bowl. All the way down is going to flush it all down into the tank. You've got your toilet paper holder and towel racks. Very well thought out bathroom. All right, so just inside the door of the MorningStar, we have some controls up here. So this touchscreen right here is gonna be for our overhead light control. So this big bar right here on the right is gonna be for dimming all of the lights together. So you can set the lighting. Each one of these touch buttons right here will do the individual light zone. So like this one right here is actually for our outside patio light. Zone 3 is going to be for our overhead kitchen lighting. Zone 2 is going to be for our overhead bed lighting. And Zone 1 is going to be for over our dinette. And then you've got all zones, you can do them all together. Now these little square boxes over here, you can go into these, you can touch, and you can do different things in here. So you can set the temperature or the color of the lighting. It'll adjust ever so slightly. And then you can adjust the temperature here, which really changes like if you go into like shopping marts, they use like 5,000 Kelvin, 6,000 is a very blue light. You can adjust that here to more like your natural daylight and stuff like that here. And then you can do fading effects where it'll play things. It's kind of a very interesting system. There's some other cool things you can do with this. They're gonna have like over-the-air updates. There's an app you can use to pair with it. So pretty cool feature here. A lot of cool lighting things. So that pretty much wraps up the inside of the all-new MorningStar by Awaken. All right, everybody, thanks for tagging along with me as we went through the all-new MorningStar. Now, if you've got more questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us by phone. Hit us up at princesscraft.com or check us out in person in Round Rock, Texas or Katy, Texas. No, because you weren't recording, so Oh, you weren't recording. You didn't get it. What do they call these things? Vessel sink. Better? MorningStar.